This is the iPhone 13 Pro, and you want to know, should you upgrade? Well, after using the newest iPhone for the last week, I have some thoughts. Sponsored by ESR. Hey, I'm Jerry, and right on schedule this year, Apple announced 4 brand new iPhones, including the iPhone 13 mini, iPhone 13, iPhone 13 Pro, and iPhone 13 Pro Max. Whew, man, that is a lot. I've been using the iPhone 13 mini and 13 Pro over the last week to test them out, see how they perform, try out all the new features, and see if it makes sense to upgrade from a previous iPhone. Now, this video is only going to focus on the iPhone 13 Pro and not going to be a comparison against the iPhone 13 mini. At this point, you already know if you are a Pro iPhone person or regular or a mini person. Though, I am planning a separate video on the iPhone 13 mini, so be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss it. And everything that I say about the iPhone 13 Pro should translate to the Pro Max with the exception of battery and screen, which we'll get to. So, just focusing on the iPhone 13 Pro, it seems very similar to the iPhone 12 Pro at first glance. This 6.1-inch iPhone starts with 128 gigabytes of storage for $999 and comes in this brand new Sierra blue color along with silver, gold, and graphite. From the front, this year's iPhone looks very similar to the iPhone 12 Pro with the same size display, stainless steel sides, and around back, that big old camera bump. Although there are a number of changes to the screen and cameras in this year's iPhone. And I just have to say that this design still looks amazing. I love the flat edge design that was carried forward from last year. The flat stainless sides that are sandwiched between the front and back glass make the iPhone feel more grippable and premium in my hand. The notch on the front has the same true depth Face ID camera, but is 20% smaller, and the back glass has a nice frosted look to it that almost has a soft touch feeling to it. The iPhone 13 Pro truly is a beautiful piece of technology. Well, I mean, it's beautiful no matter what it is, and the fact that it's a pocket computer is all the more inspiring. But because the iPhone is so nice, looks so nice, you may want to protect it with the help of our sponsor, ESR. ESR sent me over a couple of their brand new cases for the iPhone 13 Pro to try out. All of these cases are MagSafe compatible with ESR Halo Lock, an entire ecosystem of innovative magnetic accessories that take MagSafe beyond what you'll just find in the Apple Store. No matter which type of case you like, ESR has you covered. There's the ESR Hybrid, which perfectly follows the flat edges of the new iPhone with protection for the display and cameras. The ESR Air Armor Clear Case has military-grade protection and shock-absorbing air corners. And then there's the ESR Cloud Soft Case, which has a soft touch outside and a microfiber lining inside to keep your iPhone 13 looking its best. The Halo Lock kickstand can be used on a desk or bedside table to wirelessly charge up your iPhone while holding it at just the right angle. And the Halo Lock magnetic wireless car charger gives you a one-touch solution for charging on the go. ESR has a 12-year history of improving user experience through accessories with thoughtful and innovative designs that make tech devices like phones and tablets easier to use. And you can save 20% on these cases for the iPhone 13 Pro and 10% on the charging accessories using the links and codes below. For me, there's 3 big changes to this year's iPhone 13 Pro, and the first one is the display, and there's 2 parts to that. First, there's the brightness. And this year, the iPhone in regular, normal conditions can get up to 1000 nits of brightness, up from 800 in previous years. Last year, the iPhone 12 Pro was more than enough bright when viewing outdoors. And now that the screen is 25% brighter, I've had 0 issues reading outside in bright light in the bright Texas sun. And second, there's ProMotion, the Pro feature that everyone's been waiting for Apple to add to their Pro iPhone. This new display can dynamically adjust the refresh rate from 10 Hz to 120 Hz, leading to a much smoother experience, especially when scrolling or swiping. Swiping, right? Swiping. This has been made out to be the killer feature of the iPhone Pro this year, and something that changes the way that you use your iPhone and how you see every other phone that does not have it. And I will say, it's nice. Text is clearer when scrolling, and you can actually read text in motion without a bunch of blur. Transitions look slightly better. If games get updated, you can get up to 120 Hz, which will totally make you a better gamer. Oh, and all third-party apps will need to update for it, and I'm sure they will in short order. But it's not as life-changing as I thought it would be, and even hoped it would be. And sure, it is better when you compare it side by side with another phone. If you're looking for it, you will see the difference and be happy that you have it. But when I go back to the 12 Pro or the 13 mini, I don't even think about it anymore. If you are someone who is super sensitive to a high refresh rate, this may be the best thing ever. but I don't think it will affect the average user. However, every iPhone 13 Pro user will benefit from the better battery life due to the adaptive refresh rate, which brings the refresh rate down to just 10 Hz when sitting on a static or idle display, which I do like. And speaking of battery, Apple says that the iPhone 13 Pro will get an extra hour and a half of battery life over last year's iPhone 12 Pro. Of course, this is from some generic information that Apple uses to compute the average phone user's usingness. For me, that translated very well, with ending the day around 25% battery left over and the screen on time between 6 and 7 hours. And this doesn't even take into account my pre-pandemic commute when I would plug into CarPlay and get a recharge to and from work. Even this week, I made some short errand runs around town and used maps, but not connected to CarPlay, and still ended the day with room to spare. So between a slightly bigger battery, a more efficient display, and performance improvements with the A15, I think Apple has edged over the point where people need to worry about battery life on normal days. And now, cameras, which are bigger and better in every way. And I do mean bigger. Like, look at those things. They are so much bigger now that cases now need a bump around the cameras to protect them, and the whole idea that a phone can sit flat on a desk or table is completely just out the window. I'm not a professional photographer, and I don't spend any time editing my photos in Lightroom. And I don't need to go over all of the specs of the cameras, which have larger sensors, larger lenses, and faster aperture, just to tell you that the photos look great. Not just phone great, but great. In bright light conditions, the telephoto and ultra-wide lenses give you more options for framing your shot in different ways. You now get a 3x zoom lens that brings things even closer, and the ultra-wide is much sharper and cleaner than last year's ultra-wide. The wide-angle lens now has sensor shift stabilization on the 13 Pro, bringing sharper images in any lighting condition. The iPhone 13 Pro also gets the new macro mode as part of the new ultra-wide camera, and this is actually pretty awesome. You can get as close as 2 centimeters away from an object for some incredible shots. The camera will automatically switch to macro mode as you get close to an object, and I know people have been complaining about the way it switches, but honestly, I don't care about that. Apple says a button is coming to manually enable and disable macro mode in the future, so keep your pants on. The shots you get from the macro mode are just crazy, and it's fun. I think that this will be the #1 feature of iPhone 13 Pro this year, and I can already see my Twitter feed filling up with iPhone macro shots. Photographic styles are new this year, which is like creating your own photo look that applies to all photos as they're taken, rather than applying a filter after, which can leave negative effects on things like skies and skin tones. I've played around with this for a while, and I think it's great that you have the option to do it, and I think a lot of people will like having the choice of how their photos look. But I still just like and prefer the default iPhone style and plan to keep using it. So for cameras, that just leaves cinematic mode. And if you're watching this, I know you've heard of what it is and probably seen a bunch of demos on other videos already. Essentially, cinematic mode uses AI to automatically adjust the focus by tracking multiple items in the frame and selectively blurring out different parts. Cinematic mode runs at 1080p and does an okay job deciding which items should be in focus. And although cinematic mode has issues with edges around objects, you do have the option to make changes in the photo editor after shooting the video. You can change the amount of blur by adjusting the aperture, or change which object is in focus, which, technically speaking, is pretty nuts. This is the first generation of a new way to take videos, and you can expect it to get better with each iteration. But I've been trying this out over the last week, and I'm having trouble figuring out who it's really for, beyond the initial testing and playing with it to see how it works. I think there's a big ask for regular users to shoot and edit these cinematic videos. Most users want to just take the phone out of their pocket, open up the camera, and quickly shoot a photo or video of something happening without thinking about it at all, and then quickly tuck it away in their photo library. And this is a good thing because Apple spent so many years making the iPhone the best point-and-shoot camera that's always available in your pocket. When you start asking a user to try and frame a shot for something more than just a video of a kid being silly, and then go back to edit that shot to make sure everything's in focus and correct, you just run into human laziness, I think. Well, at least for me, probably. This will end with a bunch of 1080p videos with fuzzy hair and ears that will never get looked at again, instead of just using regular 4K video, which will be higher quality, and not have that same fuzziness caused by the fake bokeh blur. Again, the technology will get better with each iteration, And there will be certain use cases for cinematic mode, like making little mini movies, and I'm excited to see those. But for the regular person, it will probably be just something you try out a couple of times and then go back to regular video mode. Okay, so that's it for the big changes in the iPhone 13 Pro. Inside this familiar design, there are great camera updates, a big battery boost, and a display that is more crisp, clear, and brighter than ever before. Then there's also the brand new 6-core A15 system on chip inside the new iPhone that has 2 high-performance cores, 4 efficiency cores, and a 5-core GPU. And if you're wondering if it's fast, it is. But the iPhone 12 Pro was also fast, and the iPhone 11 Pro. According to my Geekbench tests, the single core speed of the iPhone 13 Pro was 1732 compared to the 1592 of the iPhone 12 Pro and just under the 1747 of the M1 iMac. For multi-core, it reached 4635 compared to the 3990 on the 12 Pro, which ends up being between 9 and 16% better than the 12 Pro. For graphics performance, you are looking at more than a 50% jump of 14,146 on the 13 Pro over the 12 Pro's 9,172. And this has more to do with the 13 Pro having 5 GPU cores over 4 on the 13 mini and the 12 Pro. With all of that extra power, that translates to, well, not a lot right now. Most apps don't open any faster on the 13 Pro over the 12 Pro. Pages don't load any faster, and I still spend the same amount of time, oddly, in Twitter and email. Certain high-performance apps may see an increase in speed. Exporting my LumaFusion test file on the 13 Pro took 4 minutes and 57 seconds versus 6 minutes and 11 seconds on the 12 Pro and 6 minutes and 47 seconds on the 11 Pro. So it is fast. But the processor is not just built for apps that we have today or the iOS of today. This processor is built for the longevity of the iPhone, which keeps getting longer over time. Right now, iOS 15 supports the iPhone 6s, which came out 6 years ago. So you can expect that this year's iPhone 13 will be supported until at least 2027. So yeah, it's fast, and it will run any iOS app you can throw at it without breaking a sweat. Now, with all of that said, should you upgrade to the iPhone 13 Pro? Yes, year over year, this is an incremental update, but the update is exponentially bigger for each year older your current iPhone is. When it comes to things that really matter in a smartphone like camera, battery life, and the display, the iPhone 13 Pro checks all of those boxes. Each of these updates are meaningful updates which affects the daily use of the device. The screen that you look at is now brighter, even in the sun. The pictures and videos you take are higher quality so that your memories look even better when you look at them in the future. And the battery keeps you going all day. For those reasons alone, especially for capturing the best photos and videos you can from a device in your pocket, I absolutely recommend you upgrade from any previous iPhone. All of the other features like cinematic mode, ProMotion, and the upcoming features like ProRes RAW are just icing on the cake. So what do you guys think? Are you going to be upgrading to the new iPhone 13 Pro or holding on to your old phone? Let me know in the comments below. You can hit me up on Twitter to show me some of those amazing new macro or cinematic shots. I'll be working on an iPhone 13 mini video if interested, so subs and thumbs, and I'll see you next time.